A chaotic Kansas finish where Tyler Reddick and 2311 get their 5th win of the season. Let's break down NASCAR in the Heartland at Kansas Speedway. Hello everybody, welcome to Dirty Air. I'm your host Alex Lambert, and we have a packed show today following NASCAR at Kansas. I'm not in my usual studios, I'm back at home this weekend, so I'll be doing this from here. But a fantastic Kansas race. I thought so all day long. I'll break that down a little bit. We'll talk about the finish. We'll talk about Cody Ware wrecking, coming to the white flag, which is unfortunate. We'll break that down. We'll take a look at the top 10, the points, and everything that we need to discuss following this race. Penske not doing so hot, 2311 on fire. We'll get to all of it. Let's start out. I want to sort of organize this video. So I want to explain the first part of the race, then the crazy finish, and then we'll talk about Tyler Reddick and 2311. So let's just start out. First off, we have a 267 lap scheduled race today, and 99% of it is ran without a single natural caution. So we've only got the cautions from stage 1 and stage 2, and I thought the racing was okay. It's like I've been saying all year. I feel like we've gone back to 2018 or 2017, even at the intermediate style tracks, because teams have just figured it out. The gap from first to last is so much wider than it was when we first went to the new car, and we're seeing it in real time, especially this year, even when we're going to these same racetracks with the same type of packages. I mean, you're noticing cars going multiple laps down early on. You're seeing the faster cars. Obviously, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, even Christopher Bell, maybe Kyle Larson were way faster than a lot of the cars, like the Penske cars or some of the other Chevrolets. So that's certainly interesting where we've gotten. The only thing I would say with this state of NASCAR right now, and I don't want to just come up with different scenarios. I hate coming up with just fake scenarios or different situations, but I would have liked to have seen this race play out naturally without the stage cautions. I think that's something a lot of fans have sort of pushed for, at least vocally anyway. But the stage caution just sorts of takes it to where instead of getting if you don't have the stage caution, you're running a full fuel set, which is going to be around 70 laps, maybe even a few more. So 60 to 70 laps plus, maybe 75 max laps at this racetrack on a tank of fuel. So you're running a 70-lap tire run instead of with the 80-lap stages, you're running about a 30, 40, some of them went long, about 50 laps on a set of tires. So I do think that takes away a little bit from the tire fall off, the tire wear, pushing it with the PSI. That's just the only slight thing that I would have liked to have seen different. Like I said, I hate to come up with just false scenarios, but I think that would have made it interesting to say the least. Like, how long can these tires last? And I think that's been the theme for a few races this year, like Martinsville, even Bristol. So, maybe that can be looked into moving forward, but just a thought by me. And then you have this fantastic race. And Kansas is weird because Kansas over the last few years, even before the new car, tends to have this, system where it kind of, I think somebody referred to it as a rubber band one time, which I thought was a really good analogy. The cars like to spread apart. The leaders get way spread apart, and then at the very end of the race, they come right back together, and that's exactly what we saw. We saw Denny Hamlin leading at the end of the race in the closing laps. We see with 10 laps to go, his driver, Tyler Reddick, is all of a sudden right there in the mix going for the race win. So after all those laps of green flag racing and spread out, we have a tight, close battle for the win. It's Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin going for the win. I thought this was turning out to be a phenomenal finish to a decent, phenomenal race. I thought it was a straight-up race. And then we get, with coming to the white flag, we get the Cody Ware wreck. And this throws the caution. This is the first caution of the day, natural caution of the day, and we have to go to a overtime restart. Now, here's what I'll say about the Cody Ware wreck. I mean, I know the comments. He belongs on the racetrack. He belongs to, race out front. And race aggressively all day long. I get that, but at the same time, at what point is there a line crossed? And even for your own self, I mean, it doesn't look good for Cody Ware, but at what point is the line crossed? And I don't know exactly what, I didn't even see a full replay of exactly what happened. I don't think Fox showed one. I don't know if this was a tire go down where he just completely lost control, but I mean, at what point, if you're 6 laps down, second to last, coming to the white, I feel like there's just a point where it's just embarrassing to have the caution. I didn't like how Austin Dillon was blocking the leaders with like 4 laps to go. I just think there's a point where there's so little to gain at that point in the race. 4 laps to go, blocking the leaders while you're getting lapped. I don't know. There's an invisible line. There's no rule for it, but at what point are you crossing that line? And that's the question the fans can argue. The drivers, the crews will all have to question themselves. I think we crossed it today, which is an opinion. It's an opinionated line, right? So it's an invisible line that can be crossed or not. It just depends on who you're talking to. So that's certainly interesting. Let's take a look. So we have the overtime restart now. You see Kyle Larson always, whenever Kyle Larson's in the second or third row, he's going to go to the inside and try to dive you. And that's exactly what he does here. Unfortunately, Reddick goes up, clips Bell, but Christopher Bell obviously has damage, sort of hurt Christopher Bell's day by a lot there. Reddick was apologetic about that, but Reddick just was so fast in the closing laps of this race. All of these cars, every single car on two tires was able to get back to Larson and just go right by Kyle Larson. So incredible driving by the 45, but clearly the 45 just had the grip and was just better in this instance. The 11 was also probably stronger than the 5 car, but he got caught up a little bit back in traffic in the dirtier air. It's going to be tough with only a 2-lap shootout, so it's unfortunate for Denny. He gets 4th. Kind of a heartbreaking loss there for Denny. I know he's frustrated he wasn't able to get his 60-second win, and he even mentioned in his interview the caution was unfortunate, but also if you're Denny, you can't look at that. You have to be like, okay, what did we do wrong? Because that situation could happen again, and you want to be able to somewhat prepare for it in the future. So we'll have to see what Denny can do moving forward. And Denny, it is a frustrating few weeks for Denny. I mean, leading the most laps at Martinsville and losing at the end on a later race restart. Today, leading with a few laps to go, loses it on a overtime 2-lap shootout. That's frustrating losses for sure, but no doubt Denny should get back to victory lane later this season. That does bring us to Tyler Reddick getting the win, his 5th win in the first 9 races. Just simply very impressive. I think it was Dale Sr. in '87 that won 6 of the first 9. That was the last time that anything even similar to this has been done. So yeah, just absolutely incredible. And I've mentioned it before, but the variety of different tracks, the road courses, the intermediates, the super speedways at Daytona, it's just even more impressive when you look at the different racetracks that he's been able to win at. And then of course, passing Chase Elliott on the last lap of the Daytona 500, just at 23:11, everything is clicking right now. He's gaining a huge points lead above everybody, over 100 points lead over Denny Hamlin right now. Just everything's clicking right for Tyler Reddick, an incredible talent, and he's finally sort of, building on that, building the confidence. The team around him is perfect. Everything's clicking right now for the 45 team, Tyler Reddick, and 23XI as a whole. As all 23XI Toyotas finish in the top 15 today. You have Reddick obviously winning the race, Bubba Wallace finishing 5th. I think it was Riley Herbst 14th, and then of course Corey Heim on running 12 races this year gets a top 15. So just everything's clicking right now for the 23XI group. Fantastic run today. Huge win for Tyler Reddick. And it's exciting to see somebody dominate. We talk about in NASCAR, there's a bit of a concern that we don't have all the stars, the biggest stars. And when you get consistent winners, it's probably better for a sport than a lot of parity. You see other sports sort of, excelling with stars. I look at golf with Rory and Scotty and those guys. They are now excelling into pop culture and being popular because they're always competitive and winning a lot. There's other golfers I didn't name. Same thing with Major League Baseball. There's players, Shohei, Mike Trout. Those guys are popular because they're good. They're winning a lot. And you could get a similar effect in NASCAR over the long term. So I think it's good for NASCAR to have similar winners every week. If I look at this season, it's not the same guys up front every single race, but it's a similar group up front. And when one of those guys is not up front, it's a point of conversation, which is better than it just being completely random like we had in 2022 or 2023. In my opinion, it's all opinionated, but certainly interesting. So Tyler Reddick is clearly becoming a star. He's going to get a lot of haters too. You always get haters when you win. So let's take a quick look here at the entire top 10. Like I said, Tyler Reddick getting the win. Kyle Larson finishing 2nd. You see Chase Briscoe there in the 3rd position. Good job taking advantage of the 2-lap shootout. You always see drivers either take advantage of it, a few that lose a lot. In this case, it was like Bell lost a lot. Chase Briscoe makes that up. That's going to put him now 15th in points, which is important because he's still trying to climb. He's probably a top 10 driver at least, on a top 10 team at least, in the whole field, and he's been behind in the points. So big win today for Chase Briscoe. Denny Hamlin Like I said, just that it's fourth, which is good. It's a good points day. Won a stage, got a lot of stage points, but when you that close to the win, fourth is very disappointing, I'm sure. Bubba Wallace finishing fifth, nice run for him. The Toyotas as a whole are always up front at this racetrack, Kansas. Brad Keselowski finishing sixth, kind of snuck up there also. Brad, I think he was in the top 10 every time I looked, so decent run today for Brad. William Byron sort of snuck up there into seventh. I saw at the start of the race Byron wasn't running as well as we expected. Chase Elliott finishing eighth. Ty Gibbs back in the top 10. He's always in the top 10 right now. Ty Gibbs having a phenomenal season. Chris Buescher to round out the top 10, and another one of those RFK Fords, which, like I said, when one of them's in the top 10, at least two of them are going to be, right? So that's just sort of how that works. Quickly, I mentioned 23XI. Well, on the flip side of that is going to be Penske, which is just odd. I don't know why Penske is so far behind on raw speed right now. Austin Cindric finishing in the 12th position. That will be the highest finishing Penske Ford. Ryan Blaney finishing 24th. I think he had some issues on pit road where he had to a long pit stop, maybe went a lap down or so. But frustrating day for Ryan Blaney, was not competitive at all. I didn't see Blaney at the top 10 at all in this race once we got going after the first 20 laps or so. So just not good on speed at all by the Penske Fords right now. I mean, I'm confident they will figure it out, but it's definitely a point of conversation right now that they're just not good at some particular racetracks. Joey Logano finishing 30th. Like, I mean, look, this has been a point of conversation for Logano for years, but you win one week or you're top 10 one week on Martinsville, and then you're back to 30th. So it's just a lot of variation by Joey Logano for quite some time now. And all the Penske Fords, if you want to, Josh Berry, the Penske affiliate, was also, I think, 27th. So just not a good day at all by the Penske Fords. The Fords in general just didn't have a fantastic day overall. It was really a Toyota-dominated race from start to finish outside of Kansas's best, Kyle Larson, who now has the most laps led ever at Kansas. So that's certainly something to watch for sure. Let's take a quick look at the points. 9 of the 26 regular season races now before the reset for the chase. You see the points, the amount they have, how far they are back from the leader, and then if they're in or out of the chase and by how much. Tyler Reddick obviously was now a over 100 points lead. Just absolutely incredible. Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney falls back to third. Ty Gibbs in fourth, which is pretty phenomenal. Like I said, Briscoe has now moved up into the chase for now in 14th. Or in 15th, I'm sorry. Carson Ozavar, 12th, which is solid for him as well. Got some stage points today. SVG falls out, finishing last today. It's been a rough few weeks for SVG. He's got to be able to survive some of these ovals to make it. And those are some of the big names that I wanted to mention here today. So certainly that's it. Like I said, thought it was a decent race. Let me know what you thought of the race in its entirety throughout the day. And of course, about Kyle Busch with some, I think it was brake issues, finishing outside of the top 30 again. Let's get rowdy.